let's get started. So what is A Hat in Time? It's a 3D collectathon platformer developed by the Saints at Gears for Breakfast. It was released in 2017, and it's so good. Like, oh my god. It's all fun. It's so colorful, and it's just it does so much right. And by right, I mean gameplay. And by gameplay, I mean movement / game feel. So let's talk about game feel. It's largely abstract, and it's basically what it sounds. So I like Kingdom Hearts, so I made references based on Kingdom Hearts. The top one is from Kingdom Hearts 1. The second one is from Kingdom Hearts 2. The gifts are they're both attack part of your basic combos in Kingdom Hearts. You just press one button and you do like a combo attack. Super easy, super fun. But Kingdom Hearts 1, it feels slow. It feels deliberate. It doesn't feel bad, but it feels slow. In Kingdom Hearts 2, everything feels snappy. Everything is just fast. It's all flashy and has to do with game feel. Like, there are a ton of things that go with it, but the main part is that changing the game feel will change how these games fundamentally feel to play and your possible enjoyment. Like, I know I loved Kingdom Hearts 2's combat a lot more because it's like flashy, do whatever, just look at all those particle effects. It's particle effects everywhere. You do everything, it does a particle effect, there's like a sound that plays and it feels so fast and fluid. But I'm not talking about Kingdom Hearts 2. Where was I? A Hat in Time, that's right. So, movement. Movement is A Hat in Time, and A Hat in Time is essential because, I'm not sure how many of you would know this, but A Hat in Time is a platformer. And that genre is, an unknown fact about that genre is that you have to move around a lot. A lot of people don't know this just from the name platformer, so I figured might as well get that out of the way. And guess what? The game just feels amazing to play. All the movement options are not there aren't like an infinite amount of movement options in the game. You have a jump, you have a double jump, you have a dash, and you have a grappling hook to grapple onto specified ledges and areas. So it's nothing like, it's not like Devil May Cry where you have like ton of options at any given moment. You only have just a set amount of options. You can't air trick, you can't dodge, you can't parry in this game. You got your run, you got your jumps, you got your dashes, and it feels amazing. The game doesn't really restrict you too much on what you can do in the air. So what it feels is that you can do this seamless chain of moves to get yourself from point A to point B really, really fast. And it just feels awesome to play because it's very free and open. So A Hat in Time is great because it nails game feel. It manages to keep everything all the level design and everything just makes it so that it always has your attention and allows for things that the game might not be able to do. And I honestly can't think of this is an excellent example of good game feel. And I should probably tell you something about this game. So I played this game while this was one of my first PS4 games. Oh, wow. Even as a kid, I was like, yeah, I'm not sure if this game is for me. Movement in this game is like, it's cool, it's great, it's flashy, it's good for the series, it's good for Assassin's Creed. It's not when compared to everything else. It feels so slow. I just want to get up the building. Can you not grapple on to the other ledge, the other side of the area? What are you doing? I don't want to go in there. Please, just slow down. I don't want to be in combat anymore. Just let me be in stealth. Let me climb this building. Can you just please? You are not a magnet to attaching to whatever obstacle there is. Please just slow down and stop. And which is why Hand in Time is just an amazing game. It's so good. It's so good. Totally, no, I'm not biased at all in any sort of form. I told you it was short.
Okay.
I've had very strong opinions.
I can see that. Interesting picture, by the way.
That's actually one of the load screens from the game. It's very good. It manages to nail like a ton of sort of like Mario Banjo-Kazooie type of feeling. It's a very like soft and plushy world. Any questions, comments?
Gameplay if you wanted.
What?
You could show us gameplay if you wanted.
So originally, the plan was that I was going to actually show 2 versions of the game of going through one of the special platforming levels. One was going to be how you would do it slow step by step, and the other one would be essentially my speed run route. I don't know the actual speed run route, but it's just how I kind of sped through. I love that level so much that I kept doing it over and over and trying to essentially find every shortcut I could. But the problem with that is that I don't have footage for that because I forgot to record it when I first made this presentation, which was a few years ago. And I don't have access to a PS4, so I can't record the footage now. It's a great game. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, it looks like it's pretty fun. Your enthusiasm is contagious.
It is. It's so much. It's so great. The level, there is only one enemy in the game that really makes me angry, and it's because it's invisible, and there's no good way to deal with them except for just dodging them. The fact that sometimes the game makes you in a locked room with them just makes me angry. Other than that, the game is amazing. Oh boy.
Yeah, I feel like gameplay feel is kind of hard for some developers to like nail, but when they do nail it, it's really, really good. And the game's
It is.
better for it.
I've actually been doing my like a lot of casual observations about it. Sorry, I just was really thirsty in that moment. It's all about feedback, really. It's from a lot of what I can see, it does come, a lot of what you get right about game feel does come from experience. But the game feeling good means that when action connects, there should be a lot of impact. Game Maker's Toolkit, I'm not sure if any of you watch it. Mark Brown, look him up. He's amazing. He did a whole video on game feel, and it's really good. Actually, do we have time? Because I could show a video that kind of shows what I'm kind of talking about.
Yeah, sure thing.
Yeah, that was a slide I forgot about. So don't judge me on whatever you happen to see on this page.
Mine's probably worse.
I think that's what the video was called. Okay, so basically, I was going to see if I can find it. It wasn't that long ago, I think. No, it was definitely on his Marvel kick. I'm sorry, just give me a minute. I swear there's a reason I'm doing this. It's not because I want to show you, oh, hey, look at this. This guy is called Maximilian Dude. He does a ton of fighting game content, and he's really... Oh, this is it. This is the video. I don't have ad block. Don't blame me.
Oh, real quick. There's
Yeah.
a thing that you can do with screen share that also shares the sound, playing a video.
Oh, where is it?
You might have to stop screen sharing and then share it again, and then there should be like a little thing you can select to also share volume.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like
share
the
computer
little,
sound.
yeah.
Yeah, just tell me if it's like too loud. Can everybody hear it?
Yep.
Okay.
There's something in this game that I've really wanted to look at and when I play the game, I don't pay attention. Sound helps. Yeah, I do agree. Sound definitely helps. I need something that moves. Actually, stage with lines. So let's actually, you notice how when Wolverine blocks an attack in this game? Watch the background. Doesn't move at all. Like if I took a small portion of the screen space, check this out. This might be an observation and it might not. Yeah, oh, look at that. Oh, look at that big ass fat Ryu. So here's a part of the background, right? Here's a big part of the background back here. I'm gonna move this, I'm gonna bump it like up in this direction. So when we hit the opponent, it's not moving at all. Clearly, it's not moving. We're gonna CSI the shit out of this. Turn guarding to no guard. Let's go see if this looks any different.
First attack. Yes.
You see that? Even light attacks, even the smallest of attacks have a screen shake. Even the smallest, and it is not huge, right? And this was my thing that I was making an observation of. I was like, why? I love MVCI. I love the gameplay in MVCI, right? But there's something about the hit impacts in Marvel Infinite that feel off, that don't feel as powerful as hit impacts in Marvel 3. So you get something big, and it gets even bigger. And I'm like, why isn't it? I'm gonna check out MVCI. We're gonna do some deep, dark looking, and I'm gonna zoom in on one of the stages in MVCI to take a look, because I think that this is not happening in Marvel Infinite. I don't think it does. Try a super. It's hard to tell if it happens during a super, okay? It's a little difficult. Yeah, and when special moves happen, it's even more pronounced. My argument is that I think the hit impact is more impactful in this game than MVCI because they introduced a very, very, very moderate amount of screen shake. We just ran into another Marvel game that had an astronomical amount of screen shake and made the game nigh unplayable to some degree, and that was actually Avengers. They fixed that recently, right? They actually toned down the screen shake so much that I'm not even too sure if it's there anymore. There's clearly a balance to be had with screen shake. Like, I'm a big fan of screen shake in fighting games because I feel it really does add a severity of impact for every single one of the attacks that you do. But when used too much, it becomes a problem. It actually distorts the image. I think Marvel 3 does it quite well, where even the lightest of attacks, if they land, the screen is moving a very small amount to make you feel like, oh, I'm getting a combo, right? Something's happening. Killer Instinct does this as well. Yeah, Killer Instinct does it on very light attacks too. But the cool part is that on certain other attacks, it shakes even more, right? It's kinda crazy. Is there more hit stop in this game over MBCI? I don't think so. I think hit stop in this game and Marvel Infinite that's a very move dependent sort of thing. However, hit stop and screen shake are not directly correlated, right? These are completely different things. How much a screen shakes. Hit stop is more related to gameplay. Hit stop is how long is it gonna take your hit to put somebody in a stun animation for them to recover, or a block animation to recover, right? That's something completely different. However, the impact of hit stop can for certainly, absolutely feel more impactful if something like a good screen shake is involved. So we're gonna go to, you know what? I don't even want to keep you guys waiting. And I don't have confirmation of this, but I definitely have a suspicion that when MVCI was being developed, they were sort of making the game tone down on a lot of the anything that has a chance of being too flashy or risking any potential issues, right? Risking any of the sort of potential like epilepsy issues or things like that. I don't even think it really boils down to stuff like that, things that actually might cause picture effects in people's eyes and stuff. I more think it's just like the screen is too busy. There's too much visual clutter in Marvel vs. Capcom. Let's try to tone that down a little bit and make it more readable, which is funny because I think MVCI is in a very general aspect, is a less readable fighting game than even Marvel 3 or Marvel 2. It's harder to understand what the fuck is going on in a game like MVCI because you do too much shit with your characters. There's just too much stuff going on. So I feel like that was ultimately a bad call. They should have just gone all out with making the game have more stuff in the background. Like, why are the backgrounds all so boring in the majority of backgrounds in this game? Like, why is it that way? I think the goal was just to tone down on a lot of those things to make Marvel vs. Capcom more readable, like more quote-unquote readable, and I just don't agree with it. I don't think it was a good idea, right? Which is funny, because there's a lot of not good ideas with a lot of stuff that happened in this game. It's crazy how you don't tone down Marvel. Visually, they did. On every single front, this game was toned down in comparison to the previous game, except some of the, what's it called? Except some of the lighting. Some of the lighting in this game is actually kind of cool, but it has such a terrible art style, it doesn't matter, you know? It doesn't actually matter. When it came to the gameplay, the game got crazy. Like, they were willing to make the game even crazier, which is the weirdest part because you can do way too much stuff. So, let's zoom in once again. First and foremost, let's put it on block just to see. And before, guard in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 didn't do any stage like screen shake, right? No screen shake. Makes sense. Right? No screen shake at all on guard. Makes sense. And then no guard. Let's see how much there is here. I want to zoom in on this and just take a look. Damn it! No screen shake at all. My presumption was correct. And there was a little bit there. Right, so watch this. There's a little bit when they hit the ground, right? In some ways, there is still a little bit of screen shake. Activate Power Stone? Well, right. Well, you want to see screen shake? Yeah, like, here's the craziest part. Hold on a second. There's no screen shake on Power Stone normally, right? Not even on regular Power Stone is there screen shake. Even on fireballs, like even on special moves, it just lacks an overall impact. It's very weird. They even contradict some of their own design decisions where you activate this shit and look at this. So much goddamn screen shake. And then there's like so much, like there's just a shit ton all over the place suddenly. I think it's very weird, right? There's so many weird design decisions that sort of kicked in when they were making these games. And I just wanted to boil down like my little science experiment. Why does hit impacts feel better in Marvel 3 than it does in MVCI? And the difference is literally a little bit of screen shake. Not even a lot, just a little bit. Until you get into Power Stone, then it gets absolutely crazy, right?
Yeah. That's essentially a lot of what it is. It's just game feel mostly is about responsiveness to action. When you see a character doing something, it should look good. It should read well. It's why a lot of animation is incredibly important. Just the more feedback you get, the more juicy it feels.
That was a really good video. I never thought about screen shake having that much of an impact.
Yeah. Screen shake is very like a part of things in action games especially. Stuff like sound sound design is also incredibly important for game feel. Because there's a certain like range of sounds that people perceive as pleasant, So it's always good to like try and get that on the dot. It's all about visual and auditory feedback in conclusion.
Yeah, that reminds me of a time when I was playing Warframe. There used to be like this screen shaking bug in one of their games, or like it would just shake uncontrollably. So I turned my screen shake off, and a lot of people did, and the game stopped feeling like quite as interactive and punchy, sort of, because like that's sort of why you play Warframe. It's a very punchy sort of looter
I
shooter
remember that bug.
crafting game. Yeah, so like without the screen shake, it felt kind of weird. So like I had to turn it back on because it just didn't feel right.
Yeah. That's a lot of things are like that. Like especially in like stuff like Call of Duty actually. A lot of first person shooters, the sound of your gun is the better the game, typically, the better the sounding of the gun. Like there's a lot of sort of little bit of reverb, that sort of power and punch in the sound.
Yeah, was it here that I heard them talking about they had this game with two guns and one was more powerful than the other, but everyone preferred the less powerful gun because it sounded better?
I don't think we've covered that, but that does sound like something that I could see happening.
Yeah, that sounds about
Somewhere.
right. Geez, if you know how to do it, you can really make game feel just super addicting. What game actually does this really well? Like in Smash Bros. Actually, whenever you hit your opponent, both the characters will freeze in place, and your opponent will actually shake, especially if they're getting hit strong. It's a lot of subtle things, but once you actually start looking into it, you can see that it's almost always the same principles.
Yeah, Hades does that really well too. Just like the game feel and like I think it does screen shake too. I've only ever noticed it like every so often, but like they do it pretty well because like there are some times where like there are so many particles on the screen you can't actually see yourself or the enemies, but you can still sort of tell that you're hitting them just because of like the feel and the sound design.
Yeah, any type of feedback, even like damage numbers. It's damage numbers especially. If you just see like a stream of like even the small numbers just pop up, it makes the game just feel a little bit better. It's all just smoke and mirrors. But the reason that I had times game feel feels a lot better isn't necessarily because of those things, but it feels good because it's very responsive. Actions come out very snappy, and it just, since a lot of it allows you to flow into each other. Like you can immediately dash out of your jump or something, or jump out of your dash or whatever. It feels like it's effortless to move around, and a lot of the effects when it comes to like seeing everything move, how the camera moves when your character is moving, it all serves to make you feel fast and fluid.